finally in Goa. It's been a while since any of the boys in office have taken a break, and we decided it was time for one. So we threw our bags into this Toyota Innova Crysta and drove down to Goa. Life is just generally better in Goa. You've got the beaches, you've got the greenery, you've got the brilliant food. But this, what is all this?
This is not the Goa I remember, man. This is way too crowded. Too many people, not enough Goan restaurants to be seen, and it's just too crowded. I don't think I'm going to have a good vacation if this is how it's going to be.
But guys, what did you expect if you come to Kalangut and Baga? There's been a huge influx of tourists around here, right? If you want to see the real Goa, you need to head south.
How far south?
Very far south.
Now, as we drive south, I think it's a good time to talk about why we picked the Innova Crysta for this drive. The first and the most important thing is the space that it offers. It really is awesome. This is a large car. It seats up to 7 people, but those 7 people are always seated in comfort. Whether you're in the first row, in the second row like Mandar is, or even in the third row, everybody has more than enough space. Plus, you've got a usable boot at the back. I would have honestly got this car filled up if I had enough friends. I just don't. And that's why there's only 3 of us here today. But other things that make the Innova really comfortable are its ride quality. On the highway, super planted, super stable, no tantrums at all. It deals with fast roads very well. Small bumps on the highway, you won't even feel them. Then you come onto smaller roads, and the suspension really impresses because it deals with bumps so well. The speed breaker, for example, it soaks it up so nicely. There's no unnecessary bouncing, there's no unnecessary jiggling. The guys in the back are never feeling too uncomfortable in the car, and that's really important, especially when you're taking a car on long trips. The other factor that makes this so comfortable is the fact that you don't get fatigued while driving the car. That's a combination of a number of things. First, how easy it is to drive. It's effortless to drive. The ride quality is good. The steering is good. The seats are really comfortable. And all of that combined makes this a really easy car to drive. You can spend hours behind the wheel of the Innova Crysta and not feel tired. And that's what makes it such a good pick for a trip like this. 3 friends heading on a road trip. Absolutely perfect.
And a road trip calls for great lunch. So how about we get some good lunch now?
Yeah, man, I'd love some fish right now, honestly.
Let's go for it.
So I know this really great place for lunch. It's called Viva Panjim. It's got really cool, authentic Goan food. But the only issue is it's in this older part of town, which has really tight, narrow lanes and can get difficult and tricky to maneuver cars here. But good thing for us, the Innova Crysta actually has really good visibility all around, so you can see out of everywhere very clearly. And it's also got a really good turning radius. In fact, the turning radius is class leading at 5.4 meters. So in these narrow lanes, you can actually maneuver and get exactly where you want to go without too much trouble. And because you can do that, the Innova is a really stress-free car to drive, even in the city, even in tight places. You don't have to worry, you just drive.
So, with lunch out of the way, great lunch by the way, I've flicked the keys of the car from Atish. Now, this isn't the first time I'm driving the Innova Crysta, but every time I do, it leaves me impressed. And the primary reason for that is its engine. This 2.4 litre turbo diesel puts out 148 bhp and 360 Newton meters of torque. Those are really impressive figures, and those figures translate to the fact that this Innova Crysta can really hustle, and it doesn't feel strained or fatigued under load. No other MPV in this class can boast of not feeling strained when fully loaded with people and luggage, but that just isn't the case with this Innova Crysta. And you also have power modes to aid that. When you want to take things easy and you want better mileage, put it in eco mode. What that does is it basically ramps down the power output from the engine and it returns better mileage figures. But what I personally like is this power mode. Put the power mode on, step on the throttle, and this Innova Crysta flies. But with all this performance, you also need a safety net, and the Innova Crysta has a great one. You get 7 airbags in total. 3-point seat belts for all seats in all rows. Now that really adds to the sense of security when you're driving this car. And apart from that, you also get a host of electronics including ABS, EBD, ESP, traction control, everything you'd need, and they work silently, seamlessly, keeping you safe on the road. And you would really appreciate that when you're behind the wheel of such a large car like this.
Hey, enough talking about the car and all. Pull over, I want some coconut water, dude.
Fine, man. Wait, let me look for one.
I didn't really want coconut water, guys. I just wanted to drive.
Not that I mind, because now I get to sit and relax in the back seat of the Innova Crysta, and this is the place to be in this car. Driving is fun, but it's here that you can actually relax and enjoy the comfort of the Crysta. There's a lot of things that make it so comfortable. This car has automatic climate control, and it has a separate AC for the rear section of the car, which means you can really be cool in the hot summers of Goa. In addition to that, really nice wide captain seats. You feel so safe, so comfortable, but so secure. I love it. Then you've got this tray table. I don't really like eating in cars, but if you do, you've got a very handy tray table with a cup holder over here. And you've also got this. You've got this lever over here which you can adjust the front seat and move it out of the way. Karan's seated here right now, so I'm not going to bother him, but you can do that if you're seated alone in the rear seat. This is a really comfortable place to be, and it's a great way to kick back, to relax and enjoy yourself as you get to your destination.
And I think that is exactly why you see so many of these Innova Crystas on the road, right, guys?
No, that's for sure.
It is such a popular car all over the country. Goa, Delhi, Manali, you go anywhere, you just find Innova Crystas everywhere. And I can see why. It's reliable, it's powerful, stress-free, comfortable. It really does everything. There's really nothing to criticize about the Innova Crysta, right?
My favorite bit about the Innova Crysta though is the fact that it gets rear wheel drive. Now we all know that if the front wheels are left to do the steering and the rear wheels are left to do the powering down, then that's a good thing for the way a car feels on the road. In the Crysta, it feels very good. It also gets a proper ladder frame chassis, which is robust. It gets good approach and departure angles. They are SUV rivaling in terms of how they can take on off-road terrain. And that makes the Innova so capable when you hit rough stuff like we are now. The Innova Crysta really is awesome. This is the Goa that we remember. This is the Goa that we wanted to come to.